It's never fun to watch the Chiefs lose a game like they did on Monday Night Football against the Jacksonville Jaguars. You see here, the defense just didn't have what it took against the Jags in those key moments later in the second half to really pull out that victory. However, it's not all doom and gloom. At least it shouldn't be for the Kansas City Chiefs, who were wondering what this offensive line was going to shape into. What were they going to be able to accomplish? How was it going to look with two new players on the left side? Young, you've got a lot of talent, and really, you've got to see what you got in these two guys. You got to let them develop, and that's what they've been doing. First 5 weeks of the season, we have seen the growth and the development of these two players together, and it is really starting to impact what they're able to do on the field. So that's what we're going to talk about today, the development of the Chiefs offensive line and how we've seen some of the things they're doing against the Jags and how they were able to really put up points in this game against Jacksonville, how we can see that extrapolated over the rest of the season, and how the development curve really impacts the Chiefs and their offensive performance throughout the rest of the 2025 season. Welcome into RGR Football, everybody. My name is Daniel Harms, senior film analyst. And like I said, that's what we're talking about today. Those guys up front, the big uglies, whatever you want to call them, that's where the Chiefs have to be able to win on offense to not only put up points, but to continue to develop and protect Patrick Mahomes for the rest of his career. Let's go ahead and dive into it because there's a lot, one, that I want to talk about because they do a really nice job of developing at least the interior players over the course of their career. They've done a really nice job of that, but tackle has not been an area where we see Kansas City, really start to take some things. But we have 6 clips here from Jacksonville, 6 pass protection, and 4 in the run game. You guys, I want to start off with a caveat about this because I know what I'm going to get in the comments. Oh, there's only rushing 3 guys here. They're missing Trayvon Walker. Yes, I understand both of those points. Not a problem for me because we want to talk about the development. Okay, this play specifically, you see the big play to Tyquan Thornton and how we get there, right? You've got basically 2 deep curls from both of the receivers out wide. All that based on timing. You got 12 personnel here. Both tight ends are going to give you a little bit of something. Travis Kelce blocks out, goes to the right. And then you've got Noah Gray out here going to the flat and then up. No, Isaiah Pacheco, play action pass, go out to the flat. So attacking outside, right? The offense is trying to get the ball outside the perimeter a little bit there and get the ball going. But what I want to watch is basically how the Chiefs' offensive line is developing, right? We talk about that. I've said that at least 5 times, but that's the most important part of this. Now, pass rush from the Jags, right? Noah Gray's trying to get out on his route, but he's going to get kind of hit by the defensive end there, Josh Hines-Allen. I believe they're going to drop him off. I'm not entirely sure, but not all 5 guys end up rushing. So there it is. Yeah. You've got 3 pure rushers. And then you have more of a spy on this side where, Hines-Allen isn't really trying to go after Patrick Mahomes. He's trying to go to the flat here for Isaiah Pacheco as well, who's going to the flat. So 47 ends up dropping out. Patrick's got time to kind of sit here, but Kingsley's the one that I want to focus on because he ends up putting the guy in the dirt. Patrick steps up. We see the big play there to Tyquan Thornton. How does this come about? So one of the most important things I think about the development for Kingsley Suamata'i at guard is the problems he had at tackle, right? Allowing guys to manipulate him. And one thing you're going to see here for number 91 is that's what he's going to try and do. He's going to try and attack. Oops, that's not what we want. He's going to try and attack inside and then get into this B gap because he understands that this is coming here. So Josh Simmons is going that way, right? He's going to block out. So that B gap is going to become very large. So one of the things we all know on tape about Kingsley is that he can give up that B gap pretty quickly. So there it is, inside, hand swipe here, tries to really go through, but look at right here. Keeps that hand inside. One, you're allowed to hold a little bit here when you keep the hand inside, but he maintains the connectivity. He keeps that left hand secure while he is moving to his right initially. We see a little bit of the technique to keep his hands with him because when you can stay connected right there with that arm, it allows your feet to work with him. So he's going to keep going, keep getting his feet underneath him. He's going to strain a little bit here, get close, and then he's going to extend, and he's going to shove this guy down, put him into the ground. This is very good development for Kingsley, who we know has struggled with those specifically linebackers coming into the B gap across his face. So you see how that connectivity there, he gets the pancake. He's able to develop a little bit there and get some of those hand usage techniques that he's desperately really needed to develop to get in proper position in pass protection. So this is a really nice play. It's second and long, turns this into third and short on the 6-7 yard gain. But I want you to watch how the Chiefs deal with that stunt up front. First and foremost, we've got 12 personnel. Again, you've got Noah Gray out here along with Robert Tonyan, who is more running this. So Gray's running to the out right here to the more of the intermediate part of the field. Tanyan's going to the out on the short part of the field. Down at the bottom of your screen, we've got a drag route here from Hollywood Brown, and then Juju's running more of an intermediate in route. This is known as a levels concept. Okay, when you have high-low levels concepts, as what we see right here, the two different levels of the defense. Patrick is of the offense and defense. Excuse me. Patrick is looking basically where am I going first? Typically, they are read high to low because you want to attack downfield first, and then when it's not there, you go to the open part. But what I like about this is that Jacksonville has a ton of players up at the line of scrimmage, as we see right here, and they're going to drop some of them out and then drop into zone. So up at the top of your screen, both the guys that are in their zones out there are going to make contact with Robert Tonyan and Noah Gray. Okay, so Patrick sees that. He identifies that, right? He knows right now with everything going on at the line of scrimmage, he's going to go up to the line and make some changes, right? We're going to try to pick up whatever pressure they're bringing on, and we're going to slide protection properly, watch for that stunt. And this is where I mean about the stunt, right? They're going to actually stunt both of these players. Number 0 going to come down across here, and they're going to loop around. So you've got that. Trey Smith does a nice job picking that up and then keeping his feet underneath him, straining there, so he can keep guy in front of him. And that's the most important part. And then you see Patrick again working through the progression. So initially he goes this way because he wants to get the ball to the tight end first. And with those guys making contact and throwing off the timing of the routes, Patrick comes back, wide open guy over the middle of the field. Boom, let's go ahead and throw it. I've got time to make that read and make that decision. So really nice job from the Chiefs up front to stiff that stunt and then get Patrick time to be able to throw the football. Chiefs are going to attack down the field on this play. It is a deep route concept. I think initially it was drawn up for Brashard Smith out of the backfield, but this is what they want to do. They want to get Xavier Worthy out here and then just take to the safety. They're doing the same thing here with Tyquan Thornton. They really want this player right here, this defensive guy, to go with one of them, to leave his area, because what they're actually, again, going for is getting Brashard Smith through this B gap and then out and up in most like a wheel route situation. So that's what they're looking at. That's what they want to get. Patrick does a little bit of a spin. That's why his eyes are back this way. He wants this ball to go into this area, right? So number 3 does come out. I didn't see the number 28 out here initially, but they want him to carry Xavier Worthy down the field. He actually stays with his responsibility and picks up Brashard Smith out of the backfield. And Patrick has to now, he's got time, got 3-man rush on. Like I said, no big deal in terms of the rush. But stylistically, what are they doing? What are the Chiefs doing that's a little bit different than what we've seen before? They've done this a lot. And honestly, it helps out your offensive line. They're going to run this more like a zone play. So all the offensive line steps to their left. They're going to shift the defense with them. But then they're going to take Kingsley Suamataia and bring him out and help the chipping tight ends who he can release for his route. So Gray is trying to chip there. Kingsley gets out. He's like, all right, I got this. You go for your route. Patrick's now able to stay in the pocket, make things happen, right? He steps up, steps out, and then boom, we've got Tyquan Thornton, who does a great job of finding space after we see a mistake from number 3 taking Xavier Worthy instead of going with Tyquan Thornton. So again, I understand the caveat here. Like we talked about that at the beginning. It's not about, at least in my opinion, how many rushers there are in this situation. It's about the technique. We're talking about what they're doing, how they can help out the passing game, how they can consistently do that and figure some of those things out. Patrick Mahomes is the best pre-snap quarterback in the NFL. As we're seeing right now, he's coming up to the line, making some changes, takes Travis Kelce, brings him out. Why is he making those changes? Why is that happening? Well, as we see, here comes Jacksonville. We're going to do the same thing they did last time with, all right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then creep 7. This could be an all-out blitz. So Patrick wants to make sure everyone's got their responsibilities down. But this is where that confusion sometimes can get up to you. Simulated pressures are really, really out there in the NFL right now. It's a huge thing. This is still a five-man a blitz. It still needs to be a five-man protection. However, we see free rushers get into Patrick's face. They bring the linebacker late. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on this right-hand side. So an overload blitz here, and they drop two defensive linemen out into coverage. So when we get to the end zone view, you'll see what I'm talking about. But it creates a problem with an overload blitz on that right-hand side, giving the Jacksonville Jaguars a bunch of free rushers in Patrick's face. But it doesn't end up mattering because he is able to heave this into space and allow Tyquan Thornton to adjust to it. So this is part of the improvement process. What's going to happen is this is going to be on tape, right? You have to be protected against simulated pressures. You have to really be able to adjust accordingly. When they are simulated, though, it's very tough to figure out who's coming and who's going, right? So this is what Jacksonville did. 90 here and 96, I believe, on the left-hand side are dropping out, leaving Kingsley and Josh Simmons free. There's no rushers there. So you have this edge rusher off to the left is going to come down this way, but there's nobody directly in their face. Instead, we're going to attack gaps. We're going to attack gaps. We're going to attack gaps. We're going to attack. And that's what they do. They get Chiefs sliding a little bit there. You see Trey Smith kind of took a step that way because he didn't expect the free rusher. So they've got the Chiefs have the slide on. Creed Humphrey's kind of sliding to his left. Now Trey Smith takes that step to the right to try to block here. And unfortunately, we are dealing with now A gap pressure here, B gap pressure here, C gap, and D gap. All of these are lined up on that right side. Travis is just releasing because that's his job. It's not supposed to pick up a blitz, and they can't get all the free rushers here. But like I said, Patrick pays it off. So this is on tape. It's going to be something you might see more defenses try to do to confuse a young offensive line. And it still is a young offensive line, even with the experience from center to right tackle. But that's why it doesn't matter that much. Patrick knows he's going to get hit. He knows he's able to drift back in the pocket there, and he does a great job of throwing to space and allowing Tyquan Thornton to make a play. So we have to remember there's going to be some times that, pressure gets to Patrick. This is a top 5 unit in terms of pressure allowed in the NFL. They've been very good this year in keeping Patrick clean and allowing him to do what he does. But I think the next evolution of that has been the scramble. Because a lot of times we see Patrick bail out of pockets left or right? He's trying to make something happen on the move. Instead, 3rd and 2, I understand that, okay, I want that ball to come out, but also this is free for me because of the way that they picked up the movers, right? The defense and the way that it all shifts out. So you have one player kind of fake like he's blitzing, ends up going to the flat with Kareem Hunt, but you've got man here, man here, man here, and here. So maintaining those rush lanes, right? Once you see a little bit there with Kingsley helping down on Creed Humphrey's guy, it opens up that wall, especially when you see the edge rusher on the left side go around Josh Simmons. So this is part of the development, I think, of the offensive line too. Really nice job again from Kingsley. Not perfect game by any stretch, but hand here to help just in case. You've got hand here, eyes, and then once that player leaves, okay, boom. He checks here first, right? He checks here first with the eyes. He goes to his left, and then he realizes this player is going around, and Josh has perfect control. So he goes back to the right, and now just help the wall. Just help the wall. Patrick can get out and make a play with his legs. We don't always want him running, but I do think that it's a really important thing that he gets out of the pocket forward, not out of the pocket to the right or the left because of immediate pressure off those edges. Something we've seen in the past become a big problem. So remember back to a few plays ago where we saw Kingsley move out to the right on that pull, ended up blocking. This is a more unique one where they're going to still half roll out Patrick. So you've got that play action out here, and then he's going to go to the flat. Patrick's going to kind of half roll out here, and the Chiefs are going to do the same thing. They're going to move the offensive line in this direction, and then they're going to take both Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey, and they're going to pull them back around and give Patrick more time, even if there were players in his face. So you see one of the cool things about that is that it creates this giant pocket where Patrick can kind of just do what he needs to. So trips on the bottom of your screen, both are going to help Chip. And then Juju's going to come out here and kind of sit in the middle of the field. Then Noah Gray stays that way. And then I want you to watch Tyquan Thornton, who's going to end up being the focal point of the defense deep down the field. And then you have Hollywood Brown attacking inside out on that route. And like we said, we got the flat route right here from the play action, or quote unquote play action pass. So here's that fake to the left. There's the pocket, right? Everyone's got space. But when you have so many players in space, right? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players down here. You've got 4 up here. So we have a real 4-man rush. And then there's space because Tyquan Thornton has become, we got to make sure we're down here. And then they have all these players out here that aren't really doing anything. You got breakout here, but the middle of the field, look at all the space that they create just by the movement of the offensive line, the movement of the receivers, and then the taking the top off, right? All of that plays a factor in creating space underneath. And then you build that with giving Patrick time. You kind of force the defense to come over here. Like this is when they moved off that direction that forces the defense to kind of be over here. And then you've got free offensive linemen over here that can do whatever they want to. And it's creating space for Patrick in the pocket and creating this false pocket on the right-hand side. But it's just so cool to watch them get out there and do that. So I really appreciated watching the Chiefs, their offensive line last week, the week before too. That was a really great performance against the Ravens. We see a good performance against the Jags to allow them to put up points. Now we got to figure out the defensive side, but we're going to get to the run game here in a second. First, you're going to hear a word from our new sponsors, ProfitX.
ProfitX, America's #1 sports prediction market, is a peer-to-peer sports prediction market where users play against each other instead of a sports book versus the house. You will almost always get the best price on any spread, money line, total, or player prop since you're playing against other people rather than the book. ProfitX offers dual currency system, either Profit Points or Profit Cash, and operates across 40 states. Use the promo code RGR and claim up to $200 in Profit Cash on all plays for the first 30 days playing on the site. ProfitX gives you the best lines in the space, and you can even set your own odds on specific wagers on your players, all at ProfitX. Go there and use the code RGR. Terms and conditions apply.
We want to thank ProfitX for being a sponsor for the channel, as well as these film rooms. So it allows me to get them out there for you guys. And now we're going to turn our attention to the run game, because I think this is one of the more important aspects of the offensive line development. I think pass protection, we always kind of assumed would be okay. You'd have some pressures here and there, and you'd have to figure that out. But one of my big points for this game against the Jags defense was to come out, throw the football. Throw the football. Their defense in the secondary and the back end isn't very good. You can take advantage of that. But right now, that you can throw to set up the run. And that's exactly what the Chiefs did here. And this play to me looks like duo. And I know they don't run duo, but it looks like it's duo. And the reason I say that is because of the vertical push of the offensive line. And if you guys don't know what duo is a run play that's designed to get vertical push and create as many double teams along the offensive line as possible. So we know that we only have one tight end here. So we cross kind of Travis Kelce off, which means, all right, double team here, and we have one here and one here. That's all the double teams we can create. So that's what we're going to run through. And again, I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like because of this double team right here from Kingsley and Creed Humphrey. Great job getting that vertical push. You got one-on-one here, no problem. You've got a hook block here from Travis Kelce. And then for this double team right here, Jawan Taylor says, thank you very much. I can create a hook here if you're going to be on the outside. And Trey Smith also says thank you because he can come and get on a block here. This is what I appreciate about this. Look at all the space. Look at all the space created when you can get out and just let your running back run. Isaiah Pacheco is a vision-limited running back who really can only play downhill. That was one of his better runs of the season. And it's not just because of the hole, but watch what he does to create a backdrop here for this linebacker. So 23 is trying to peek around the double team, okay? He's trying to peek around here. He understands that, okay, this is a giant gap, right? He's probably going to come right to me. But Isaiah also understands that if I can kind of press here along this inside hip of Creed Humphrey, so the linebacker loses me, he might think I'm going here, which creates this hesitation from number 23 and allows the double team to get to him first instead of right there. You see how he shifts over and runs into the double team. Isaiah Pacheco says, thank you. I will start running off of guys and get into the second level. That is what getting off the ball, creating double teams can do for an offensive line. Is what it can do for your running back. Now, this is where I think the Chiefs impressed me the most. And again, I'm not trying to say that the Jacksonville Jaguars run defense, specifically when it comes to the defensive line, is fantastic. I know that the numbers say that they were pretty good in the run game. Down Trayvon Walker, they don't have the best front four outside of that. So we have to take it with a grain of salt. But it's never always about how good you are on the opposite side. It's about the mentality. How can you impact the run game? How can you physically impose yourself on the defense? This is the longest run play from scrimmage for the Chiefs, not named Xavier Worthy or Patrick Mahomes. For the running back room, this is the longest run they had. This is a simple inside zone play out of 13 personnel. 13. Typically, the Chiefs don't run the ball well out of 13 personnel. So here's what we got. Travis Kelce comes down to the left side on the backside. Now, typically, you don't have to do a ton on the backside, but I want you to at least pay attention to it because we are going to get to the backside of plays here in a second. But you're going to see the inside zone block down. And then what inside zone means, everyone steps with the same foot in the same direction. The difference between inside zone and duo is that you're trying to get lateral push instead of vertical push. So everyone's going to step down with their right foot and try to still create some of those double teams. So you're going to get a double team here. And this is where the main focal point of this is going to be. And then watch on this side here with Noah Gray as well as we come through here, because this is where it gets fun. So eyes up. Great job. Trey Smith leans in with his left shoulder here on number 99, but he keeps eyes on number 23. He knows that's going to be his man. But we got that push here. Number 90 goes to the outside shoulder of Jawan Taylor, which is exactly what you want to see. And you got hat on a hat on a hat. What I mean by that is block on a block on the front side of the play. That's what you're looking for. That is perfect. And now all it comes down to is this double team. Trey Smith does a great job. Let me go back really quickly to give Creed Humphrey the full leverage of the play, because he knows number 23 is coming down. I have to give him number 99 so that I can take 23. Extend right there, push off, and this is perfect. It gets up this wall right here. And then while Trey Smith doesn't execute a great block, he's very, very high, swallows up. But this is what you're looking for. Everybody in one giant pile falling over each other. And then out here, you have separated the blockers. You have separated the pursuit defense. And this is exactly what you're looking for, because it allows any running back who can see it and can find it the ability to get out in space. And you get Noah Gray with a great job finishing the play. So Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, even Jawan Taylor with that hook block make this happen. Effort from Noah Gray, everybody involved. This is the kind of stuff, guys. It's what is important about the run game. Again, 13 personnel, under center run, outside zone action for Isaiah Pacheco, and we get into space again. Why is inside zone so important to run out of shotgun? This is why, out of under center. This is why. You get action from the running back. Everyone is going to step this way, okay? Running back, fine. When it's under center, when it's shotgun, you don't get this movement from the running back. You don't get this movement from the defense, because when you have this action here, all the defense is thinking is we have to get out. We have to get out here. We don't want them running outside zone. We have to get to the edge. And how do we now see backside blocking matters? Being able to get into the backside of the play matters. Being able to find the cutback lane is important. I don't think Isaiah Pacheco expected to cut this run back, but he ends up finding the space and doing exactly that. So on the end zone angle, this is really where it gets fun. The left side, the back side, do exactly what you need. And Kingsley taking his guy into right here, first of all, Creed Humphrey with a little bit of assist here, keeping his hands underneath and allowing Kingsley to get on that shoulder and drive is perfect. It's well executed. It's great because he's going to help there, and then eyes right here to get this block. But we need to see what Josh Simmons is doing, guys. We haven't highlighted him a lot because I've been trying to focus everywhere else, but he's been solid. Hasn't had to do a ton of pass protection in these clips. But this explosion to his right, and then takes two hands and swipes down. Boom. There goes that guy. All right, he's done. Isaiah Pacheco, reading number 94. All right, fine. Well, he's got me here. They're outside here. So I can't really get to where I want to go. Insert Kingsley Suamataia, who blows this guy out of the water. Travis is on a block. Simmons was already took one of the guys out that could have been a pursuit player, and it forces Isaiah Pacheco to now, all right, I have to alter course. I have to go back to the cutback lane and get inside and find space. And this is, everyone wants to talk about him cutting this run outside. And I'm going to talk here just for a second about that specifically, because right here in this situation, Isaiah Pacheco can't go here. He can't get there. Okay. He's not fast going this way. He is fast going this way. He has to go vertically. He does not have a choice. He is slow getting out here. And plus, number 3, at the very least, is going to undercut Xavier Worthy. If he recognizes that Isaiah Pacheco is trying to get outside, probably going to try and block. Maybe you get a block in the back, but he's going to meet him right here. He can't shake him because he's not very good athletically. So let's just try to remember who this player is and evaluate based on what he did well. Understanding that he is a downhill player, kind of having to bounce off of a block there and get upfield and bounce off a player. That's what he does well. That's why I gave him a shout out on Twitter, because it's important to see that kind of play from Pacheco. Now we get to the reason it's important to have guys that can read. Kareem Hunt is not the most explosive, fast guy in the world anymore, but he finds a cutback lane. But there's no penetration here. It allows your running back to read the play. It's just an inside zone play, but he finds the cutback lane. Again, you've got Simmons and Kingsley washing down properly, getting blocks. We are under center 13 personnel once again, and we are getting after it with these guys. This is what you want to see. Get on a block. Get down. Keep going, man. Just get on a guy. I don't care what you got to do, but this is how, as much as everyone gives Travis Kelce hate, he's not great at blocking, but this is perfect. Why is it perfect? If you have the effort from Josh Simmons and Kingsley blocking down and washing guys out like this, you can get cutback lanes. You can create 6 to 7 to 8 yard gains just based purely on that, you guys. So when we see the Chiefs do this consistently in every day, that's when they're going to be able to get to the run game, and then it's going to make the play action pass even better. But look at the collective of the offensive line. They're getting better each and every week. And I know everyone was worried about Kingsley, but he is getting better and better and better. And it's kind of a drastic development for 5 weeks at guard, right? So let's try to remember that this offensive line is still only 5 weeks into its playing together. The left side is still only 5 weeks into playing together. Give them a little bit of leniency, and that's exactly what they're going to continue to do. Get better and better and better. And I think this is going to be a strength of the Chiefs when it comes to November and December. And we all hope that they're playing in January and February, because I still think that they can still put up points. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of the offensive line and why you need to be kind of getting excited about it, because I think it's going to be a huge strength for them down the stretch. As I mentioned, you guys, please, if you're new to the channel, hit that sub button right now. and become a member here at Rogue Nation. And then everyone take 2 seconds, hit that like button before you leave. It really helps us out and gets us out to the algorithm, which is the most important part of creating content and getting content out there for you guys. So please have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.